Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be doing this first dog. If you saw part 1 and 2, you would have seen me draw this background. And today I'm finally getting started on the dogs. So I'm sure if you are a pet portrait artist or you're interested in following me for my pet art, you've been very eager to see me do these dogs, and that's what I'm starting today. So please, can you let me know if you can hear and see me? That would be very useful. Without any technical difficulties before we get going. And if you have any questions at any time, please let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any of them. I'll show you the reference picture I am using. So this is the lucky little doggy that we're going to draw today. I think for this one, I'm going to start with the nose. So if you have trouble doing dog noses, then this will be a really good one for you to watch and see. I'll see how far I get. I'd like to complete the nose in this session and maybe show you how to do all this white and grey hair as well, but we'll see how it goes. Normally I do like to start with the eyes, but because the eyes are so like in the distance underneath all this fur, I like to start with the central visual focus, which is the nose for this particular portrait. So I normally go in with the nose, do around the nose, then the tongue, and then backwards, work my way backwards, then the eyes, then the hair, then the ears, and then finally the body. So here I'm going to be doing this blurry out of focus front view of the orchids, which will be very exciting to do. So I'm leaving that till the very last after both dogs are finished. So this is what we're working on today, black and white dog. I'm very excited to show you my how I do things. I'm just turning on my cameras and getting the materials ready. All the materials I use are in the description of this video, apart from the pan pastels. So I'll just show you those quickly now. These are pan pastels. I use them as a base for my portraits, and they're very easy to use. They're very pigmented, so you don't need a lot, and they're really good thing to create a good base layer. Cover the paper. I don't like to have any white showing in my paper, so that's why I use the pan pastels. And then this is a soft tool. You can use one of these, or you can use like a makeup applicator like this. Anything you like, really. Anything that's soft, spongy, any sort of sponge. I quite like this one for detailed work because of the point. So you can get this online, Jackson's, Amazon. I've put links in the description so you can see. So I'm going to go in with the darkest part first. And that's what I like to do. So I like to do the very, very darkest bit. And according to my reference picture, that's the nostrils and a bit of the bottom of the nose. Just like this. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit messy, you can easily rub it out, or go over it with the colour or anything you like. We're just blocking it in for now. And I just like to do the darkest parts first, just so I have an idea of tone and the contrast for this particular piece. I think I might do some of this dark area as well around the tongue, just to show where that is. I don't want to lose any of my line drawing if my hand accidentally rubs it out. So I've done this line drawing here with a light grey Faber-Castell pencil. I don't use graphite on my portraits because the graphite tends to bleed and make things messy. And it's quite hard to cover up, especially if you're doing quite pale coloured pets like white pets, cream, fur, anything like that. So I don't use graphite. I use colour pencil, preferably a light grey or a light purple, because they're the easiest colours to blend in. So it's just tiny, tiny, tiny dabs, just blocking in the darkest parts that you can see, always looking at your reference photo. I've been so excited to actually get started on these dogs. I finished the background, I think it was Thursday, and it took a lot of willpower not to just get going on it yesterday, because I wanted to show you from start to finish how I do them. I hope you're having a nice Saturday night. I definitely am. While I'm recording this live, or while I'm videoing this live, I'm also recording a time lapse of this, and then I'm also recording a detailed zoomed in version with my Canon camera so I can get multiple angles of what I'm doing, and then I can create different videos for different purposes. So I've got a lot of cameras going on right now. You can sort of start to see his face taking form. He's a happy, happy dog. I was very excited to start this commission because it's just such an interesting, colourful one. I've been trying to do a lot more colourful and interesting backgrounds lately because I didn't want to just do white anymore. I thought it would be more fun and also help to show the character of the pet a lot more if you're doing an interesting background, because maybe it's their favourite place or their favourite colour or the owner's favourite colour or room, or anything that's actually meaningful. And so doing this a colourful background like this allows me to do this. So the owners grow orchids in their garden, and so these are like their orchid trees. So I was very excited to include them, because then it's just so like that's their dogs, in their garden, hanging out like they do. And it just feels like a moment in time. It's more meaningful. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions as I'm going, please feel free to type in the live chat box and ask. I'm Just to recap, I'm using pan pastels. This is a soft pastel tool, and that's what I'm using to blend into my paper. Really, this is just to cover and block in all darkest areas. I'm not going to focus too much on the ears because I'm just doing the center of the face today, but I still want to just do a bit so I can understand what I'm drawing visually, and it'll help my imagination a bit more as well. Okay, so I think that's all the dark ready, sorted. Now I'm going to go in with a Caran d'Ache pencil. I like to use Caran d'Ache next because they're a softer pencil, soft waxy pencil, and they're very good for blending. So most of this background is Caran d'Ache luminance pencils. So if you want to do bokeh backgrounds, blurry backgrounds, like unfocused ones, if you're doing like skin or I don't know, anything soft, these are really good blending ones. I've heard they're quite a lot like Prismacolor, but they're a more expensive version. So it's worth checking them out if you like Prismacolor. So I'm going to use a combination of the black pan pastel, some ultramarine to make the black really stand out, and a bit of brown. Let me see here. Here we go. Bit of brown. So now I'm going to go into those darkest areas and fill them in, working with the ultramarine for the very darkest bits. I'm using the ultramarine blue because I want the black to not look flat, and the blue helps that. If I went in with just black, it would start appearing a bit flat, and it's very hard to get out of that once you're in it. So I like to put down a blue or purple or brown, whatever you can sort of see reflected in the fur of the dog. Like, really use your reference picture and try and pick out the colours that you can see. Let me know if you can't hear me or can't see me well. I'll try and do some adjustments. I know I said I was starting with the nose, but now I've gone in with the eye areas, haven't I? Just get overexcited and want to do it all. I'll just do these darkest parts and then I'll go back to the nose. It's quite difficult drawing small areas and filming because the camera is right where my face needs to be, really. So I'm having to like have my head back and not be able to have it as close as I would normally have it to the paper. Okay, so I'm seeing in the nose a lot more brown undertones, so I'm going to get that brown out. So lots of small concentric circles. And you start building up the layers that way. You don't want to go in too dark to start with. You want to slowly build up, because with cut pencil you can't retract what you've done very well. Not like paint where you can just paint over it when it's dry. It doesn't quite work like that. So you just really think about the layers you're putting down. So I always suggest to start light, and then you can easily erase it or colour over it, like you haven't used all the layers of your pencil. Lots and lots of circles. I've really enjoyed this portrait so far, and I can't wait to see it finished, to be honest. Not because I want it finished, but because I just want to see the final result. I'm eager to see it, eager for my client to see it, eager for it to be gifted. It's just all so exciting. I'm a very impatient person, so I have to be very patient in this business. Start filling all the little shadows and things. Once I finish this commission, I will be uploading a video or a few videos of drawing this from start to finish. You can see the reference picture alongside, materials list, everything. Like, it'll be a lot more thorough. I can only really do one angle right now, just using my webcam. I can't really show you the pencils I'm picking or different angles. So please do check out that video when I've uploaded it. I will let you know. So I'm getting the black out and doing some black. Again, small concentric circles, not pressing too hard, but hard enough to see. Always looking at my reference photo, concentrating on where those shapes are, the dips, the curves, the shadows. It helps to work dark and to do the darkest bit first. I'm not necessarily working dark to light, but I like to do the darkest bit and then work light to dark. And for me, it helps to understand, okay, so if that's the darkest bit, then the tone of this is this, and I can map out what the rest of it should be. I find it harder to do that if I just start white, because the paper is white. It's already the lightest tone. So if you ever hit your head on your camera after trying to turn your head, I'm with you. I do it all the time. I'm very glad my camera has protection on it because it would probably be broken by now. As I said, my camera is in the exact position I want to put my head to see. So I can use this brush, Faber-Castell dusting brush, I think it's called mine. And that's going to help so I don't get lots of material everywhere, ruining things. Okay, let's go in with warm grey now. Warm grey, warm grey. Here's the warm grey. Needs sharpening. I'm trying to use up all of my shorter pencils. So I got this hand sharpener, which is very, very nice. It's very heavy. Works like a dream. Look at that. Beautiful. So now I'm going to go in and do the sort of mid-tony areas. As you can see, colour pencil takes quite a long time. But I love the effect it has. I wonder if I put this here. Can you see that? Yeah, so you can sort of see the reference picture. You can see what I'm working with. I'm doing it now. I mocked up this reference picture in Photoshop. So it wasn't actually like this. This is the concept that me and the client came up with. So now I'm just going back and with my black, but very lightly, going in with some more mid-tones, dark tones, just trying to get the shape a bit more of this nose. can also use Faber-Castell, sorry. So this is a much harder pencil and is really good for doing detail. So I normally like to use this pencil over the top of the Caran d'Ache. It sits quite nicely on the top of the Caran d'Ache and helps me blend it out, add some detail, gives it a bit more depth. I'd say the nose is almost there. It needs a few lighter touches. I'm working in such a small area. You can't add as much detail as you normally would. So this is a Caran d'Ache Pablo Swiss Blue Grey that I'm using. Again, this is a hard pencil, like the Faber-Castell Polychromos, but there's just a few more variations of other colours that they don't have. So I also have a full set of those, and then I can dip in and out. I don't always use the Pablos, but it does come in handy sometimes. I mostly just use the Caran d'Ache Illuminance and Faber-Castell. Why keep saying castle? Polychromos. Sort of spelled like castle, but it's not. My brain wants it to be castle. And I need a Faber-Castell black, so I can do some nice dark details. I just need to put one on my pencil extender. Look how small it is. Still very useful. These are my Derwent pencil extenders. I really like them. They're very, very good. I have a few of them. So if you're in the market for pencil extenders, I would suggest the Derwent ones. I'm just doing lots of little circles now to try and get that texture of the dog nose. You know the kind of texture I mean? Dog nose texture. I think we're almost there on the nose now. I'll probably go back and keep going back and forth to adjust the tone as I do the rest of the portrait. But I'd say that's about it for the nose. Now I think I'm going to start doing some of these hairs, which is a fun part. I think I'll start with this warm creamy grey colour. Can you see all these little warm hairs? I think that's what I'm going to do first. Try and get those in early so I don't lose them. Starting from the bottom to the top to get that point that's created. Try and be a bit loose with my lines to try and mimic fur. You don't want to be too linear with it because fur goes in all sorts of directions and you want it to look natural. Well, I do. That's my style. I like to do quite a realistic drawing. I'm trying to mimic how the fur moves, falls, thinking about where it's growing out from, thinking about how it's curving around features of the dog, as well as like entangling and curling around each other. So keep this all in mind as you're looking at the reference picture. It doesn't just come straight out the nose like that. It curves and falls away. I don't know if you can even see this. It looks like it's too bright. That's why it's good to tune in my next video, I suppose. Sorry if you can't see that first colour go down, but I'm going to do a darker one now, so you should be able to see this one. Oh, you can't even see that. I do apologise. How can I fix this? I'm not sure how to make it less bright, to be honest. Well, you can see how my hand is moving at least. I'm just turning off one light will help. Never mind. I'll have to imagine how it looks. It looks good. So again, I'm doing like darker bits first. Well, I did mid-tone first, and I'm going with the darkest bits that I think are key to the structure of his muzzle area. I sort of go back and forth with light to dark. I don't really do it very structured at all, really, because it just depends on the reference picture and what you see and what you feel you need to fill in and put down quickly so you can understand what drawing. I think I'll probably stop there for now. Thank you so much for watching. If I can do that, you can sort of see what I've been drawing. Sorry it's so oversaturated. I'll have to figure out the lighting for next time. But thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing live on Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. If you'd like to join me then as well, I'll continue with dogs. I probably would have had a lot more done by then, but I'm going to be continuing this commission still until it's finished, basically. So thank you so much. I'd love to know what you think in the comments, and have a lovely, lovely night. Bye.